Welcome to episode 124 of Sport SA Daily Diary. Today we're chatting to Egyptian triathlete Basmla ElSalamoney. Good evening, Basmla. How are you doing today?
Anna, I am fine. And you?
Very well, thank you. Thank you for joining us today, all the way from Egypt.
Thank you for inviting me to this interview. It's my pleasure.
It's great to chat to you, and thank you for helping us out. Basmla, you are a triathlete, but you haven't been in the triathlon game for very long. You started off as a swimmer at the age of 6.
Yeah, exactly. I was a swimmer until the age of 16, and then I started to shift my career after 16. It was a hard way to start, especially when I didn't have a background of cycling. But I started, and then it wasn't very easy to start cycling.
Yes, I'm sure, and it's certainly it's not the easiest thing to start quite late in life. But let's stick with your swimming career. How did you get into swimming when you were 6?
Yeah, I started to learn how to swim. I think most of the Egyptian children start swimming at the age of 5 or 6. We usually start. Most of the parents make their children to go to swimming, so I started. And then at the age of 10 or 11, my parents found that I have potential into swimming, and then from the first national championship I entered, I have got the first place in my age, and then I started to take it seriously and professionally. Besides studying, it wasn't very easy as well, but I continued until the age of 16 to be at the podium of the national championships. I didn't have the opportunity to qualify to a world champion or a continental in swimming, but I had very good records which allowed me to start triathlon at a very good level in swimming.
So, Basmla, I mean, you started swimming sort of at 6, but you only started competing at 11. And at your very first championships, you won gold. I mean, that's pretty impressive. You must have been pretty chuffed with yourself.
Yeah.
Tell us a bit about that, the emotion of winning that race, your national championship at such a young age.
That was crazy. I started my first race, I got silver, and then the second race it was 200 meters breaststroke, and it was my first championship. So when I went to the finish, and then when you hit the omega, you just turn around to see your record. But for my luck, the omega didn't stop, and I was like crazy. Where is my record? After the race, I went up and started crying. So why didn't the watch stop? And then after they went to the referees, they found that I have got gold. They took the manual record, and that was crazy.
That's unbelievable. So, I mean, you came flying out of the blocks. In your swimming career, you won over 50 race or medals. That's pretty impressive for such a young athlete. And again, I mean, you're still very young.
I was young in swimming. I hope to continue swimming for an older age, but I didn't have this opportunity. But in every competition, I think I got medals. I started with breaststroke as my special stroke, and then at the age of 14, I started long distance, and I have joined the national team of open water. That's where I found my passion. Open water swimming was much more interesting for me. I like long distance, and that's when I found that I am an endurance athlete and not a sprinter. That's where it all started.
And I mean, representing your country must have been a pretty special moment for you.
Yeah, my first after 16, I have called my coach Ahmed Salama, and then I told him that I have just got bored of swimming. I don't want to swim anymore. And then I went to meet him to just to know how can I start to do triathlon, and then he just tested me in running, and he found that I have good running technique, I think. And then I jumped on a bike. It was large, it was a bike, and then I fell down twice, but step up again and just get on the bike. Um, I think he found that I have passion into it, and then after 2 months of training, I was in another city and just traveling for 2 or 3 hours twice a week to train with him. And then after 2 months of training, there was the first international championship I have done in triathlon. It was the African Cup in Sharm el-Sheikh here in Egypt, but I have joined the junior race, and it wasn't a very large race. We weren't too much athletes, but it was very very special to represent your country. I think it was my first international race, and then I got first in that race too. Um, when you, just my first time to see the national flag and anthem, and it was unbelievable.
So, Basmla, let me get this right. You stopped swimming because I think you were kind of bored and you wanted a new challenge. You found triathlon. You found a bit of information on the sport, and you found your coach on Facebook.
Yeah.
And then within 2 months of falling off a bike because you didn't quite know what was going on, you won your first race and a national championship race as well.
Yeah, the junior African Cup.
Basmla, do you know anything but first place?
I have known other things than first place. That's why I quitted swimming. I didn't quit swimming of just not being the first. In my last championship, when I was training like professionally in swimming, I have got first and second places in the national championship at the age of 16 or 17 maybe. But getting bored wasn't just because the level, it was just I needed, as you said, a new challenge. I didn't get enough with national championships, so that's where I found that in triathlon was different than swimming. Swimming is not very easy, especially here in Egypt. Quite a lot of time I was training, I think twice per day, 5 times a week. So it was quite a long time in swimming, and just go around the course in a swimming pool doing uncountable turns, and this was I can't stand.
So, Basmla, I mean, you're now sort of a fully fledged triathlete. You're competing and you're winning races around the world. What is your favorite discipline within the triathlon? Is it still the swimming?
It's still swimming, but after a few seasons of continuous running, I used to run while I was a swimmer, but it was just for increasing my fitness. But when I started training running for series, I found that I love running too much. In few races, I have won a good place due to my finish in running. So I think I can just run quite good after the bike. So I think I like running in triathlon more. Although I have a good place in triathlon due to my swimming. So I'm quite thankful for this.
And how's the bike coming along? Have you fallen off anymore?
It's improving, but as you know, cycling is not easy. It depends on your background and the mileage you have done in your life. It hasn't been quite long since I started cycling, just 4 years. We are improving. I think my first races, I wasn't being able to ride with the first pack in triathlon. As you know, it's the most important thing. But after a few races, as an elite race, I managed in some races to ride with the first pack, and I think the coming will be better in cycling.
And Basma, I believe you had a bit of an unfortunate cycling accident where you were injured quite badly. Tell us a bit about that and what it was like being injured and having to come back and all of that sort of thing.
It was very hard. I have fell off the bike many times before. Like I have 2 years ago, I hit my face to the ground, and that wasn't very easy. It was hard. My half face was just injured, and then I had to continue my life and go to study. I'm still studying, so it was hard. But then I believe that cycling will not be that easy. But last year I have faced, I think, my hardest experience in cycling. It was a car accident. I was training alone. I went for an easy ride, and then a car hit me on the road, and then I had to stop training. It wasn't very easy. I just went to the hospital afterwards, and I had to stop for 1 month. And after that 1 month, I found that I have a meniscus tear in my left knee, and then I had to go for a surgery. That time was just I have stopped training completely without any kind of training. I couldn't walk. I was just walking on one leg, and then I had to do a surgery, but I have to wait just 2 months to start the surgery because I was in my final exams in my second year in college. I'm studying dentistry, by the way, and it wasn't that easy as well. But I have waited for my doctor. He is living in Germany, and then he just came and we chose the time of the surgery. It was meniscectomy, partial meniscectomy. And after that, I started another level of a challenge. I thought that after the surgery, I'm just will be well and start training, and it will be easy to not a big deal. But then I found that the surgery was the easiest part of that hit. I had to go for the physiotherapy. It was very hard. Every day I had to go to sessions for physiotherapy. And then it wasn't easy. Yeah.
No, I'm sure. And tell me, Basma, was there any point throughout this entire period where you thought you might not get back to professional sport?
Of course, many times, and you can just look around the people around you. There are some people I'm thankful for their support, like my coach, Ahmed Salema, the minister of sport and youth. He supported me since my first day of the accident and until the surgery and physiotherapy. And of course, General Ahmed Nasser, our president of the Egyptian and African and Arab confederations. He was beside me every day after the accident, motivating me. But of course, you can see that people around you are just sad for you, and you can feel that you will lose your motivation. And I didn't. Many times I didn't think that I will come back to training normally, since my knee was just bent and I couldn't walk. So it was hard to think that I will be able to run or cycle again, but it happened.
And Basma, obviously triathlon's not the biggest sport in Egypt. How did your sort of friends and colleagues at college react towards you when you started winning titles around the world? I mean, you must have been incredibly popular amongst all of your classmates.
Yeah, I am. At the first year of my college, not too much people know me, but after my first race, they just start to know you and you get popular with them. I'm thankful that I have good friends. They are supporting, they are helping. You have to go to many races around the world. I missed some classes, but I have good friends that can help to manage this.
And obviously they also need to help you sort of balance your life, because between training, I would imagine, for the three different sports, your studies, having a social life, being with your friends, having time for your family. I mean, it's a lot to juggle for a young woman.
Yeah, it's very hard, but I think I have got used to it since I was young. So now it's still hard to manage, but sometimes you just feel that you can stand this, but we have a goal to look forward it, so we have to lose something so as to get another thing. But I'm trying not to lose my social life. I communicate with them. I try um, to get time with my family and friends, and I'm happy that I can do this until now.
And Basma, I mean, from 2016 when you started the sport, again, sort of falling off the bike. 2019, you were already the Africa Games champion for the individual and a bronze medal for the mixed relay. Do you feel you are almost single-handedly putting triathlon on the map in Egypt?
Um, I can say that triathlon was in Egypt since 2008. We have some good triathletes. They are very good. We have some athletes who have represented Egypt in the Youth Olympic Games. Um, I think right now I think I'm first in Egypt, but we have good like good team with coach Ahmed Salama as the like the head coach of the national team. He is supporting, he is helping. We are building a system. It's not easy to get triathlon bigger. It started very small with few athletes, but it's getting bigger now, and I'm happy that I'm in this system.
And Basma, I mean, for a sort of uh, athlete from Egypt, you're obviously religiously Muslim religion. Um, and there's a time in the year, obviously during Ramadan, where you are having to fast. And you're obviously having to train as well. How do you actually manage that process? Because how do you train for an endless amount of hours with an empty stomach?
Yeah, it's a month per year. It's Ramadan. Just we have to fast like 17 hours per day from the dawn until sunset. Um, when I was a swimmer, I had to swim just before iftar and afterwards. You just can't train at the midday because you are on an empty stomach and you can't drink or eat anything. But the best thing to do is to train. The first session will be an easy session just before the iftar, which is the first meal at the sunset. Usually, sessions before eating will be easy, like mobility and maybe a strength session or an easy bike session. Maybe I had to do some runs, some easy runs before eating, and then afterwards, after 2 hours from eating, I start to go the second session. It will be the key session of the day. Um, that's it. We have used to do this to be able to train. It's a month, just we can stop, and you have to train because after this month, I think the season starts and you just start to go to competitions.
So currently, I presume there's no races within that month of Ramadan, and if there were, would you participate in them?
I think I would. Um, Maybe I will just have to not fast this the day of the championship, I think, or because you have to compensate for your sweating and so on. You have to fuel during the race. But I just try to manage my racing calendar so as not to be in that month. Uh, and I'm just right now I'm successful in this.
And Plasma, just in closing, you're still very young. You're only 21. A twofold question: what has been the best moment of your career to date? And secondly, what is on the cards for Basma in the future? Because essentially, triathletes only really peak mid to late 30s, and you're already shooting the lights out at the age of 21. So by the time you're 35, no one's going to be able to keep up with you.
As you said, I'm still young. It has been just 4 years in triathlon. I'm thankful for what I have reached. My best moment for sure was the gold medal in the African Games 2019. Is my biggest achievement. I'm happy I have raced this race and just got the Egypt flag up. Um, this is for the best moment. For the future, I think I just wish that I can qualify to the Olympic Games, Tokyo 2021. This year was very hard. I have been to Spain this year and last February. It was my first camp outside Egypt, or I think my first full training camp. I have got some good results during this race. Unfortunately, after this race, the lockdown has started in Spain and then in Egypt, and races were just all postponed or cancelled. But I'm happy I have went through this experience. I have got so much experience and information being with the best in the world. I'm thankful for the triathlon development team who have made me go to this camp. And then for the future, I hope I can qualify, as I said, to Tokyo 2021. I will do my best if I qualify to represent my country. I know I'm still young. It's not easy to be with the best in the world, but as I said, it will be amazing. I will enjoy it. I will try to enjoy and represent the best I can do. And then I just hope that I can continue more and more in this sport to represent in the following Olympics. It's not easy here in Egypt to continue professional sport for the age of 30 and 35. I know triathlon just starts its peak after 30 or after 25, from 25 to 30. But I hope I can try to continue. It would be amazing if I continue to this level, and I will do my best to be at the best level until the oldest age I can continue to do triathlon.
And Basmla, I believe you started swimming with your brother. Was there competition between you guys? And has your family been very supportive in terms of your career as a professional triathlete?
My brother started swimming. My two brothers, I had two brothers. They started swimming when they were young. The oldest one just quit it at the age of 15, I think. He didn't get interested in swimming or in sports yet. My youngest brother, the second one, he's older than me, but he continued to swim until the age of 18. And then after getting to college, he quit it. He was the national champion as well, but he didn't do triathlons. I'm the only one in the family doing triathlon right now. But,
certainly.
In terms of competition, we are 6 years apart. So I was still young when he quit it. So we were just having competition for fun, but not professionally.
Well, it certainly sounds like a very talented family you have. Basmla, thank you so much for joining us today on Sport SA Daily Diary. It was lovely to chat to you and lovely to hear a bit about your story. Good luck with qualifying for next year's Olympics. And if not, no doubt you'll be at the 2024 Olympics.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me today. Thank you for this opportunity. And I just wish Marwan a speedy and healthy recovery. I hope he will get well soon.
Absolutely. Yes, we all do. Wish him a very healthy recovery, and that's Marwan Al-Kamash. Thank you very much. Have a good evening.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Look out for tomorrow's episode of Sport SA Daily Diary, where we'll be chatting to an 800-meter champion from Botswana.